We have a major Jordan Travis injury update from head coach Jeff Ulbrich, and also there is more news on Tyron Smith's neck injury, as Jeff Ulbrich has revealed a lot about some very important New York Jets players going into another week of Jets football. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. And real quick, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. You guys have been killing it recently. Let's keep that up. But let's jump into it because, well, Jeff Ulbrich was discussing Jordan Travis and his recovery, and he said there's been some setbacks with Travis, and also it does not sound like he's an option to come off the PUP list at any point this season, but Ulbrich did say that he believes Travis has a bright future. Now, I know a lot of people are high on Jordan Travis, and with this all being considered, it feels like Ulbrich saying he does believe he has a bright future is one, just him supporting one of his players, but at the same time, it feels like this is something where essentially the New York Jets, knowing Jordan Travis is not going to be available at all this season, they're trying to add some silver lining to some unfortunate news that Travis won't be available. But Jordan Travis is a guy who looks like he could have some role with the Jets in the future, especially if Aaron Rodgers does not come back to the team next season, Matt. So it's really becoming this situation of, okay, where do we go from here knowing that Jordan Travis isn't going to play at all this season, and just discussing it's not like everything, we're all just going to be waiting in the wings for Jordan Travis, a guy picked in the 5th round, to go out there and save our franchise. So how do you feel about this? Because I don't really know what to think right now.
So Jordan Travis was picked in the 5th round by Joe Douglas, and it was right now, it's looking like a wasted pick, honestly. He was injured over a year ago, November 18th of 2023, and still is not even able to practice with the Jets. This is not what you were looking for out of any rookie draft pick. People are saying he was supposed to go higher in the 5th round, higher than the 5th round, should he not have been injured, which is probably definitely objectively correct. He probably would have went in the 4th round. Reading some of his draft analysts, what people have to say about him. This is from Lance Zierlein via NFL Network. So, a real deal analyst, someone who knows what he's talking about. I'm not going to read, exactly what he said, but there are some important words that are all over his draft scout. Adequate, able, can, average. It's just, this isn't an extremely exciting player. That's why he was drafted in the 5th round. It's not good process for the Jets to bank anything on a quarterback draft. The future of the franchise. The last day 3 quarterback we've seen get time with his team was Aiden O'Connell, and we see him with the Raiders. He's bad. He's not the worst thing in the world, but he's bad, and he's definitely not the future. And by giving Aiden O'Connell the reins to the team for this year, I know it's supposed to be Gardner Minshew, but he took over pretty quickly. It's been a wasted year for the Raiders. They have a great pick in Brock Bowers. They had Devontae Adams. They have Jacoby Myers, who are all good players, but it doesn't matter because their quarterback can't get them football at all. And now I understand he's injured right now, but it's not a smart thing to entrust your entire future to a guy drafted in the 5th round. People are asking in our comment section, so what if Jordan Travis is never supposed to start? Is it just a wasted pick? Yeah, it probably was a wasted pick because the next GM that comes in is going to have no ties to Jordan Travis. He didn't draft him. There's going to be no guarantee that he liked Jordan Travis in the pre-draft process. So he's not going to feel any special need to play Jordan Travis or even give him an opportunity at all for the Jets. Going forwards for Jordan Travis, one good thing that he has going for him is the fact that the team is really, really, really bad, and there's no obvious way to get a quarterback for next year. So next year, he might actually end up getting the starting role week 1 if the Jets want to see if he is a potential starter with I don't want to say hopes that it's a lost season, but there are no quarterbacks. The facts right here. There are no good quarterbacks at the top. I'm not going to say no good quarterbacks. There are no elite quarterback prospects. Next year, there will definitely be elite quarterback prospects. So the Jets might go the route of starting Aaron Rodgers or not starting Aaron Rodgers. It's yet to see how that's going to work out. We have no idea if Aaron Rodgers is going to play or not. Then they're going to start after the season probably goes sideways again, because that's what happens with Jets seasons. They would start Jordan Travis. and he is going to either take the job over or not take the job over. And what's most likely going to happen is the Jets are going to have a top 12 pick and be able to trade up to go get an elite quarterback in next year's draft. So Jordan Travis, this injury update is obviously extremely unfortunate because we want to see what we had in this rookie. And he's not a developmental guy. You have his stats somewhere, but he was at Louisville. Then he transferred to Florida State. How many years do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years. Like a 6-year quarterback, and he's getting older now this year too. There's just not, I don't see any reasons to be excited about Jordan Travis.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a 6-year quarterback is not ideal, and the final 2 years of his time at Florida State, he looked like a good quarterback. Like, statistically, great QB rating, was leading the conference in that, and average yards per attempt. Like, he had some good numbers show up, but...
Wait, so I just want to talk about his last 2 years at Florida State. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He was a really good college quarterback at Florida State. He won the ACC Offensive Player of the Year as a, whatever you want to call it, 6-year super senior, COVID senior, whatever you want to call it. He played really well at Florida State. The problem is he doesn't have elite traits that lead towards being a really good quarterback in the NFL. The Jets need a quarterback who can be like a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert, someone who has elite traits, so when we put other players around them, they turn into an elite player. This we're not going to see. The odds are way against Jordan Travis ever being able to develop into an elite player because he is 6 feet tall. That's not the height you're looking for out of your quarterback. Maybe he's 6'1". We'll give him 6'1". We can make him even 6'2". He's still not as tall as where the good quarterbacks are in this league.
He still doesn't have an elite arm.
That's true, Chris. You are the ideal height for a quarterback.
Yeah,
5'4".
I should go do it. Yeah.
So he doesn't have a rocket arm. He's not overly athletic. He put up a big numbers rushing. He had almost 600 yards rushing in one season, which is really impressive because in college, when you're sacked, they take that out of your rushing totals. That's counted as yards against the quarterback. Well, that's not really fair. I can understand why they would. Actually, I don't understand why they do that. It should be a sack yard, not rushing yards. I don't know why we're putting that against the quarterback, but when you see a year like Johnny Manziel where the guy rushes for a ridiculous amount of rushing yards per game, in college is even more it's even more impressive because they are doing it even with the sack yards being deducted from them. But bringing it back to the Jets, Jordan Travis, we should have seen him by now. I mean, I know it was a really, really bad injury, and it wasn't just like a clean break or anything, but this is too long to come back, and I don't know. Like, it's really looking bad for him for his career with the New York Jets.
Yeah, it's definitely something where if he's starting next year, they're kind of leaving him out there for dead almost. It's like if you're starting him, you're in a rebuilding season, basically. And it just becomes this thing of they want a top quarterback. They want one of the top 2 guys in the 2025 draft. So Travis would have to show up and perform like nobody's business in his first year starting in the NFL if he wants to get it done. Now, who knows? Maybe he will do that, but it doesn't feel like it's too likely that that's going to happen. So it does become complicated. And truly, I hope it works out, but it's definitely not something the Jets seem like they're banking on, and I don't really think fans should bank on it either. Something else the Jets fans should not bank on is Tyron Smith, because that man's neck is not improving at the rate the Jets hope, and he's been back and forth between one Jets drive and seeing specialists, and the IR is now stronger consideration than ever. Look, Matt, I was so hyped when we signed Tyron Smith. I thought it was really cool. I thought it would work out. Obviously, I didn't know that no other team wanted to sign Tyron Smith. But Woody Johnson will Woody Johnson, and the only way that he can make up for this, in my mind, is hiring a fat head coach. I'm not done with this agenda.
Well, you should never be done with that agenda. But this move, bringing in Tyron Smith, right up the alley of Woody Johnson. He loves bringing in the old veterans after. He always sees a guy in free agency and goes, wow, I can't believe he's available. Remember how good he used to be? And then there's a reason why they're in free agency. But Tyron Smith, I think it's highly likely that he goes to IR because there's no reason to bring him back. He's a veteran on a 1-year deal. This team is not playing well. Maybe he would want to play and prove himself for another team for next year. But as a Jets fan, I want to see Olu Fashanu play left tackle. I want him to get these reps in what is a lost season. So I want him to get all the reps he can while it doesn't matter if he gives up sacks, unless the quarterback gets hurt, of course. But stats wise, game wise. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play well. Let's get him the experience now and have him make these mistakes now. So next year when it matters, he isn't going to be making those mistakes, and he's hopefully an elite left forwards.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Fashion is just going to pan out. He looks good so far in the... It's not exactly limited reps anymore, but he's looked good, and it seems like it was another great draft pick by Joe Douglas. So we're going to see how Fashion works out, and there's just really no reason to bring back Tyron Smith. Who's it benefiting? Like, if he's injured, why play him? Like, the Jets have, like, what, a .07 chance to make the playoffs? They have to literally win out, and then still there's a high likelihood that they wouldn't make the playoffs anyway at 9-8. There's literally no point to bringing Tyron Smith back. Also because Fashion has looked better than Tyron Smith this season. So it feels like it's an absolutely useless situation to bring Smith back. Just put him on the IR. Let him hope he can get a contract from another team. But you have to imagine this is it for Tyron Smith in the NFL.
I mean, we'll see. He might be able to get a backup role if that's what he's looking for. If he wants to play, he will play. Someone will definitely sign him. The question is, does he want to be potentially a backup left tackle, which is something he's going to have to talk about with himself, his agent, and figure out if that's the right move for him going forwards.
Very true. Well, guys, let us know what you think down below on Jordan Travis and Tyron Smith and your thoughts on all this. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Fat people should coach the Jets. Go Jets.